Hey, we're happy to connect with you. This is John Spora with Jeff Spadafora from The Way, and we are really glad that your friend, your family member, your colleague, somebody that's connected to our family called The Way, thought enough of you to send you this video link, and hopefully the fact that you clicked this means that you're interested in learning some more about what we've got going on here. And that's the intent of this video, is we want to kind of give you a download on what it is to be a member of this Way community. And we hope to invite you into that. And so more than just your relationship with this person that sent you this video, who, by the way, we would fully endorse as a walking advertisement for The Way. They're part of the Way community. We think that you may be a good fit for this community on a number of different levels. You've probably had some conversation already with this person about, listen, you're already a believer, right? You've got some sort of, maybe a spiritual plateau, Jeff, or a ceiling that they're kind of bumping up against in terms of their growth. Right. There's some frustration there. Yeah. Maybe there's some a curiosity about their calling, about what it might mean to sort of, outside of me punching the clock 8 to 5 and showing up at church on Sunday, like what would it mean to actually align my vocation, my calling, my purpose with this invitation that Jesus gives us to follow him in every area of our life. There's something about maybe wanting some community. We all want a posse. We want some guys that are going to go arm in arm with us, shoulder to shoulder with us, iron sharpening iron, as they say, as Scripture says. And that you might be open to some coaching around what that might look like specifically in your life. But you know what? Over and above all of that, I would say that probably what they saw in you is what we're hoping to hear from you as well when we get a chance to connect. And that is this. You've just got this deep hunger that says there's got to be more than what I'm currently experiencing. And I'm willing to kind of go all in. Would that be a good way to sort of summarize?
I think that's exactly it, John. I think those are the different characteristics that clearly your friend saw in you that led you to this next step. And it's a key part of our mission. As you know, I spent 20 years as a leadership development and executive coach and spent a lot of time just understanding human behavior change towards building better professional success and better leadership success. But after doing that for a long time, I realized that there's deeper wants and deeper cravings of a man's heart that I was interested in and helping them figure that out, quite frankly, because I was going through that. I just had this great career, lovely wife, healthy kids, but there was this smoldering discontent, like, man, what is going on? And so, I pivoted into spiritual direction and life coaching 19 years ago. And so I've seen all the different modalities of helping a person live a full and healthy life. And I just wanted to create something that would hit on all those different characteristics and would be a deep and lasting transformational journey for a person. And so really our mission at The Way is that together, so community is important, and coaching, John and I are the coaches, together we identify and remove anything that's getting in the way of our living and loving like Jesus, so that we can do two things. One, live with clarity and courage in every dimension of our lives. And two, we can figure out what is our role in making it on earth as it is in heaven. And so that's what it's all about, is helping you get clarity on your marriage, on your vocation, on your faith, on your health, on your all these different dimensions. And then move into those things with courage and creativity and start living a more joyful life. That's what we're trying to do.
That's what a way to summarize it. I bet you there were some words that he used that kind of caught your heart that you maybe didn't expect. That phrase, smoldering discontent, is a really powerful way of capturing what I was saying earlier about just the heart behind just being all in this idea, Jeff, that there's just got to be more. Yeah. Real short kind of backdrop on my experience. Part of my story is I was a men's ministry pastor And so a lot of times we think, well, the church is going to be the solution to figuring this thing out and unraveling this mess of our life that we kind of feel like we've made, and kind of getting that clarity and courage to move forward. And without dismissing the role of the church in it, because there's absolutely, the role has a church to play in this. But there is this idea that the problems that we're experiencing are not just sort of spiritual, Jeff, right?
Yeah,
They're playing themselves out in our marriages, in our vocations. Practically, it's not just kind of the spiritual, but it's the everyday, the way that I'm conducting, the rule of life that I've got for how I'm conducting my life. And so we have a tendency, I think, sometimes to sort of play church, play men's group, if you will, that says, and we all know the language of it, it's sort of the nut, God is good all the time, God is good. And not that that's not true, but it's just not complete. There's some lying that's going on to ourselves about the level of freedom that we're actually living in. And there's some hiding around, because quite frankly, I mean, you get in a room with, at Starbucks, at a Starbucks Bible study, it's probably not the place to open up and be the most vulnerable. So we want to give you a space and a place and a level of trust and some other men that are just as committed as you to kind of open that up and give you a safe container to really grow within. So I wonder if you kind of would explain a little more about the approach that we use, the format, and why it's a little bit different than the typical.
There's two things that come to mind. One is just the thing that you and I are always so fascinated about. It's this nexus or overlap between the spiritual, the psychological, because there's a lot of head junk going on. It's not just spiritual and theological. It's just bad thinking and lies and limiting beliefs. So the spiritual, the psychological, and then there's the practical, the outflowing. Like, what does this mean for your work, for your parenting, for your marriage? And in my experience in the church, there's like a high value placed on inspiration, but there's a low value and low capability placed on executing. Like, just get some stuff done. What are you going to do next? And then the flip side is true in the corporate world, where like they know how to get stuff done, but there's no inspiration. There's no big thinking about, man, like what could my life really? There's no dreaming, and frankly, very frequently there's no connection to how does this bring God's peace and love to this planet. And so we just want to get all of that together into this experience. And so we've been in existence for about 5.5 years. We've had 12 cohorts launched. We have 2 different categories of cohorts, sort of based on age and life experience. We call the first group emerging leaders. The other group is seasoned leaders. The emerging leaders, that's like a 16 to 18 month program. For the seasoned leaders, that's a 3-year program, but you kind of do it in 1-year gates. If you're not getting value at the end of year 1, you're fine to go. And you re-up for the next year. One thing we don't do, though, is if you've committed to a year, you stick with that year until you get to the next gate.
That's it. And Jeff, one quick thing. The emerging leaders is really what we call the under 40s. So the break point there about the seasoned leaders, it's kind of the over 40s. Kind of code for old guys, if you will.
Guys with gray hair.
That's right.
So that's kind of about how we're set up. The cohorts are, anywhere between 8 to 12 men in a group. And the groups will meet once a month for about a half a day, like 1:30 through dinner. So you can have you get a morning of work done, you can have a business lunch, and then get to your monthly meeting, and then we go through dinner. We do that monthly, and then you get one-on-one coaching time with John and I as the lead coaches. And then we also have, we're in like the 90s. I think we have about 90 people that are in the community now. Some of these men have really matured in different levels of their life, and they have some incredible expertise in different facets of their life. So there are ways you can tap into the expertise and knowledge and experience of the broader community to get help with something that's very specific to you. So the experience, besides having a curriculum and a syllabus, it gets customized for what you're working with based on our coaching and, if necessary, other people in the way that can help you with a particular issue. So that's sort of the process. Now, each cohort is sort of going on this journey together, but the broader community, we have experiences for them, and it's fun stuff too. I mean, we do a fly fishing trip, we do a mountain biking trip, we go up to the Flat Tops Wilderness. We also do silent retreats. Don't let that weird you out. There's some power in that, and we'll ease you into that. And those things are all for the broader community, and they're all optional. But what's different about this as well is we have a really high bar to commitment. What I have seen is that people are tired of really having the hunger that you may have, and you're ready to run through walls to get something figured out in your life. But the other 8 guys could kind of care less, and they're just playing church, like you said. And so what we're doing is we're not just curating tools and experiences and teaching. We're curating people. We're creating a community of other like-minded men who are hungry to break through spiritually, vocationally, maritally. It's just a hard group of people to find. And so we're pulling that together for you. We also pull together your wives and how the wives fit into this. This is not just a solo journey, but it's how do you integrate your wife into that. And so when we do coaching, we often do coaching, it's 1-on-2. We'll also work with you folks to do, hi Wendy, go on. We'll also work with you folks, we do a dinner with your cohort. We do a full half-day session with the wives there during the cohort. And so there's other ways that we can add value to your life by the creative ways that we can integrate your wife into this whole process.
I'd say we're just building community. We're creating this community where there's just 100 different ways of helping you grow. And that doesn't include just spiritually, right? It's going to play out in your vocation, in your marriage, and kind of 360 degrees in your life. And here's the thing I'd say is, quite frankly, the best proof of it is the person that sent you this video. They are our walking advertisement, as I said earlier. And the process that they went through and the transformation that you've probably seen in their life is a result of this same process that we would potentially be taking you through as well. This isn't sort of something that we're kind of coming up with on the fly. It's a proven methodology.
That's a good point. We are a community. And that sounds like, oh, great. But it's like, well, I got church. But I'm telling you, we have got a structure. We are working through 5 big questions at all times, working on who is God, working on who am I, working on what does he want, what do I want? That's a big question.
Like I got to say in this thing too.
Exactly. But just, going deep on understanding God and deep on understanding yourself, like the good stuff in yourself, the not so good stuff, really understanding the full dimension of who you are. And then, as I was saying, the third question is, what does God want? What do I want? And then, what are you going to do in the next 30 days? So it's a community, but I don't want you to get to the picture that it's just all fun and kind of sloppy. We know right now what's going to happen in meeting number 27. We know the curriculum, we know the videos, we know the excerpts of books that you read. So this is not haphazard. This is something that we've been developing and fine-tuning for quite a while.
Yeah. And so, I hope that it stirred you up a little bit. I hope that kind of giving you an overview of what the format of what we're doing is inside of this community has sort of touched some of those buttons and levers in your heart where that smoldering discontent exists. And I would just say simply the next steps are click the link below. There's a link to a form that we'd like you to fill out. And that'll give us some more background information, a way to get a hold of you so we know who you are. And one of our team members is going to reach out to have a conversation with you. Maybe grab a cup of coffee, have lunch or something, and give you an opportunity to ask some real questions about what you've heard so far. So take note of some of the things that you're thinking about or that are unknown to you right now that you want to learn more about, because we're happy to share some of that. Would you talk real quick as we're closing here just about the frequency of how, does that person right now need to act today in order to be part of our next cohort? When will that launch?
It's a good point. So we do have an emerging leaders and a seasoned leaders cohort launching sometime in this sort of the April to July timeframe. And so we'll go once we get a quorum of people. And then as groups, as cohorts matriculate out of their 3-year program, or for the emerging leaders, their 16 to 18-month program, then we launch another one. And so this is sort of an ongoing rhythm, of a couple, per year.
2 or 3 a
get
year.
launched. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So hopefully that gives you enough information. Again, we would love to hear from you. We'd love to connect with you, figure out how we can serve you in your spiritual journey. And so yes, please click the link below. Tell us who you are, and we'll look forward to reaching out to you soon.
Awesome. Good job, John. Thank you.